Internet! Hello and welcome back after a long foray away. I went to New York for the Schmoedown and some meetings. I went to Atlanta for some family time, and now I am back, and I am excited to talk about all manner of stuff. Now, you also notice that this camera is falling down and causing all sorts of chaos, but I caught it. This is the very last one of these that will be this chaotic. Joey Rasul is coming over. I am very excited. Joey is a good friend and also was a guy that helped out at both Geek and Sundry and Collider, and he is fantastic, and he is going to be helping out. Hello, live chat. I missed you too. What up, Motorola? I'm going to pull up the live chat here on my YouTube situation here. As always, bear with me while I get adjusted to running the show as well as live chat and all the other things. But we have so much news for you guys today. I'm going to try to cover the most I can of the last 2 weeks, the things that are near and dear to me, the important things to me. In the meantime, I love all the Koi Pond love in there, and I am finally able, to my knowledge, to be able to get super chats. I think I finally got it to go through. YouTube sent me a thing saying I was monetized, which means I think that means super chat, so I can actually see stuff. So the last few weeks, I've been kind of flailing around trying to keep an eye on every single thing in the chat, and I think finally now I can use Streamlabs and Super Chat, which means I can actually guarantee to answer your questions with those, which is good, because I needed some sort of tool to keep me focused in any way, shape, or form. Now, I'm going to be talking while I'm diving into this, but know that since, yes, I agree, Jack, so much has happened since our last gathering, like an absurd amount, a truly absurd amount. And I want to start with probably the most recent thing, which is why I'm wearing this shirt, which is why I wore this shirt today on Action Movie Anatomy. I want to talk about Lethal Weapon 5. Guys, if Marvel didn't have movies, say there was no MCU, say, you know, let's we can go back to Blade. If there wasn't a Marvel film designation, then my favorite franchise is Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon means the world to me. I grew up in these movies. The first one came out right before I was born. Every single Christmas, I watch at least one of them, if not multiples of them. I'm a diehard Lethal Weapon fan. To find out that 5 is far enough along that they mentioned it in a THR round table, and that Danny Glover and Mel Gibson and Dick Donner are coming back, absolutely thrills me. That is, I don't know how many 2 weeks of news channels are going to lead with Lethal Weapon, but this franchise means the world to me. I'm a huge Shane Black fan. Mel Gibson, the actor, I'm a fan of. Danny Glover is just the best. He's an incredible person and an incredible actor. I like Lethal Weapon 1 through 4. I think it's a rare franchise that holds on. Now, there's a lot of diehard people, but I don't know if those held as strong as Lethal Weapon, to be honest. And you can watch any of the Lethal Weapons and have a damn good time. So I am a big fan of the franchise. It's also a rare franchise where there's impact between the films. What happens to Riggs affects Riggs in the next film. What happens to Murtaugh and his house affects him in the next film. Even the family of Murtaugh, like all of the Murtaughs, they kept the same cast, even the supporting characters. You grow up with this family, which I think is incredible. I've been starstruck a few times in LA, and one of them was by the Murtaugh house. I was working on a movie, and just to my right was the house of Murtaugh, and it was incredible. I got to see on Warner Brothers Ranch where my childhood happened. When I drive around LA, I see the sets. I am a giant Lethal Weapon fan, so I know Richard Donner's up there in age, but so was George Miller when he did Mad Max. I think he can absolutely handle it. I hope Shane comes back to write it. I hope the script has that, you know, Shane Black dialogue that I love so much. I know he only did the first one and some of the second one, but to me, Shane Black is Lethal Weapon. I am very excited for that. This is Teddy Bear. He is a dog and he is lovely. He is my co-host for today. So I am absolutely excited for that madness. All right, let's see here. Once again, live chat is how I'll be able to see all the questions, but I want to just try to grab what I can. Thank you for the welcome back. Edward Haskell, as always, a fantastic asset to this show and to the Koi Pond. You don't see Super Chat either? God damn it. I don't know how to activate it, because it said I could do monetization. You know what? Like I said, Joey's coming over today, so this is the last one of these where hopefully we don't have that stress. And I do have the Streamlab thing set up so I can see the Streamlabs glory wherever that may be. Now, are you guys in the live chat? You guys Lethal Weapon fans? Are you part of that madness? Because I am a huge, like I said, ride or die. And it looks like, okay, Fantastic. We are good to go here. Okay, so I also want to talk about that as the most recent news. Like I said, that was THR, which is glorious because that means it's pretty close to an official situation. When a producer says it publicly, you know that's going to get a lot of attention. You know that's going to get a lot of heat on the actual thing. So I could not be more excited. We're going to do my pull list about halfway into this episode. I want to dive in to all the music that came out last Tuesday. Or was it 2 Tuesdays ago? I don't know. Last Tuesday, we got 3 incredible albums. We got Eminem's latest, a surprise album. We got Mac Miller's posthumous album, and we got Halsey's album. I am a big Halsey fan. I am a big Mac Miller fan. I am a giant Eminem fan. So I want to dive into those with y'all. Now, I personally, I love Eminem. I understand why people don't. I understand what they don't like about him, but I think he brings awareness to really important things. I think that what he did with the Darkness video is extremely impactful. I am a proponent for those conversations, and especially with the amount of reach he has. Like, he basically made a multi-million-dollar impact with a music video and had an important message to say in it. So I think he does really incredible things. I gotta say, like, when people are like, it's controversial, it's an Eminem album, I'm like, well, yeah, the dude, he doesn't give a fuck about people's opinions, and I really respect that. And when he does, it's usually going to be combating things that I personally think need to be discussed. So he's definitely done some shit I don't agree with throughout the years, but he's also done way more good for a lot of things. And I also don't think anyone is as good at anything as Eminem is at rapping. I love Tom Brady, I'm a Patriots fan, but Eminem is the GOAT, period. His speed, his diction, his wordplay, his imagination, his originality, his beats, like, Eminem's just, he's the GOAT, man. There's nobody quite like him. So I absolutely, I absolutely think that Eminem is the guy. Jake, I see your message. Thank you, and it was fantastic to meet you in Brooklyn. I also think that with Eminem, you get a really playful Eminem now. I personally like Kamikaze a little bit better than the latest album because it's a little more aggressive, it's a little more visceral, it's a little more cutting. But this really playful album was a lot of fun. People keep asking what my favorite tracks are. Obviously, Godzilla, he beat his own record with Rap God, so I'm a big fan of speed rap, and holy crap, those 30 seconds are absolutely insane. I think the album it doesn't drop off in the second half like a lot of albums tend to, but I do think the first half is a little stronger. I also think that what he's able to do with the versatility of beats is really impressive. Let's see what you guys saying in the chat. Once again, I'm going to try to do the chat as much as I can. I love all the Lethal Weapon love in the live chat, because you don't see enough of that in the modern day pop culture conversation. Philly, I agree, it is a dope album. Darren, it is brilliant. Bryant, I don't hate MGK, man. MGK, actually, I listen to MGK pretty consistently. MGK, I've seen live 5 times. I'm an MGK fan. I think he's great. I think Eminem's a better rapper, but I don't think that's contested. But I do think that MGK's diss track may be a little stronger at points. I don't know. I really liked MGK's track as much as I love Eminem, but I loved Eminem's retort too. So I'm a fan of them both, and I think it's easy to be a fan of them both. I think they're both incredibly talented. Let's see. Stan's Your Best song in your opinion? I think it's fantastic. I mean, Tupac is the bar, right? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Tupac is, of course, like, he's the best storytelling rapper of all time. Tupac redefined hip hop, and it'll never be the same. So, I mean, let's say greatest rapper alive and just keep it clean. But Tupac and M are up there for me. I have not watched the Arrow finale. A lot of people tweeted me about it, and I just haven't at the time. I've been traveling, and I didn't have like a Roku or anything with me. I have not gotten there yet. Let's see. Chris, Lethal Weapon 1 is the second best Christmas movie of all time. I will agree with your sentiment, but it's my number 1. I think it's the best Christmas movie of all time. I think it is the movie I look forward to over the holidays. But I love that you think it's number 2, because that means you think of it too, and that makes me very happy. All right, so Mac Miller. We lost Mac before this album came out, obviously, and I think that it's a really haunting album in a lot of ways because of that. I think that there's going to be a lot of I think there's going to be a lot of really like haunting messages that you hear in the tone of the album that you wouldn't normally. Like there's a lot of stuff about slowing down, there's a lot of stuff about mortality, there's a lot of stuff about what it means to be an artist, and it's really impactful now that we've lost him, but I think it would have been no matter what. It's just hard to hear a lot of the tracks. And I think Mac had an incredible future ahead of him, and it's awful. Like Mac Miller is a brilliant artist, and I love this new album. I'm a big fan of Mac Miller, and this album is amongst his best, so it's a shame we lost him when we did, because he was just getting better and better. Someone asked, no Drake. Drake had all the accolades and all the streaming records. I'm not a big Drake guy. He's fine. He's a little more pop for me than I personally get into. His sound is I like it when I'm in the mood for Drake, but I'm never, like, I don't typically go out of my way to listen to Drake. No disrespect to Drake, it's just not for me. And I'm glad he's doing well, and I'm glad everyone likes him. It's just not for me. When I hear him, I don't turn it off. I just don't typically put on Drake. I don't turn it on. But he's very popular. And then finally, Halsey. Carly Rae Jepsen and Halsey are huge on my playlist. I am a big that kind of pop fan. It's really strange because it's so counter a lot of my more aggressive stuff and a lot of my speedier stuff. But when I want something chill and slower, Halsey and the Redbone album with Childish, and those are my more mellow sounds. And I think Halsey, her voice is brilliant. If you haven't seen Roadies, the Linklater, I think it's Richard Linklater show, she's an incredible guest star on one of those. I haven't seen her SNL, and know a lot of people are talking about her on SNL. I haven't seen it. Apparently it didn't go great, but I haven't seen it. And she's a beast of a performer. I've seen her live twice, and both times I was just so impressed with not only her energy, but like she's not auto-tuned at all. Like the strength, or to my knowledge, the strength of her voice is just so much, and I really like her stage presence, and I like her music. So I'm a Halsey fan, and I'm digging the new stuff. Let's see, what do we got in the live chat? Lethal Weapon 4 was Jet Li's debut. Finishing up to Mag's amazing. I agree, Ragged Company recordings. He absolutely did. Let's see what else we got in here. Biggie was rocked in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Does hip-hop belong in the Rock Hall? I think that music is tricky to quantify as to what distinction it is, and I think a lot of Biggie stuff has a rock flavor. Not in the traditional sense, but in the energy. And I think if they inducted him, then they think it does, and that's who matters, right? So good for Biggie, man. I didn't know that until this moment, so I think sure. Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? I'm a diehard Niner. Yellow Flash, I am rooting for the commercials this year. I actually can't root against my team by picking anyone else, and I honestly don't have any skin in the game with these two teams. I like the Niners enough, but without the Pats in it, like I'm going to be such a casual fan this year, which makes me, I don't know if that makes me a great Patriots fan or a horrible NFL fan, but I'm not Rob Lowe wearing the NFL hat. I'm pretty specific to my team. I love that all you guys are asking questions about music. I never get to talk about music, which is why I'm loving this YouTube channel. I get to actually talk about other stuff. Billie Eilish, she's fine. I think her brother's an incredible producer, and I think she's a talent. I think she's gonna keep doing great stuff. I think I'm excited to hear her Bond song. I don't listen to her often, but she's good. She's just not for me, but she's good. Let's see. Did I watch the Fox version of Lethal Weapon TV show? Now, Clayne Crawford, I'm a giant fan of, so I watched the first 2 seasons because when they got rid of Clayne, they got rid of me. I am a huge. I'm even excited to see his Killing of 2 Lovers movie because I'm a big, specifically Clayne Crawford fan. I swore I'd never give Lethal Weapon TV show a chance because it was network TV and it was everything I think that the show shouldn't be, and then the show was great. So it was one of those shows that made me eat crow, man. I dove into Lethal Weapon the show and I really loved it. I went on the set a couple times and Keisha Sharp's fantastic. I met a lot of the team. The cast is great. The guy that plays Scorsese is a really good dude. He's also a host. I'm a big fan of Lethal Weapon the show the first 2 seasons. It doesn't have a season 3 in my opinion. And I got nothing against Sean William Scott, but no Clayne, no me. Let's see here. Carly Rae's Emotion was better than 1989. Emotion is one of the best albums. Hard stop. Emotion is, I think, the best pop album in the last 10 years. I think it came out in the last 10 years. Anyway, I love Emotion. I think it's an incredibly powerful album. Let's see. What else is going on? Good to see me back. Thank you very much. It makes you a good Pats fan. Thank you, Yellow Flash. What are my thoughts on Led Zeppelin? Dude, Led Zeppelin's incredible. Have you heard that new band, Greta Von Cult, I think their name is? They have a very Zeppelin sound, and they're young. Sorry, this is a very jerry-rigged setup. They're fantastic, and I love Led Zeppelin, and I think I have to as a burner. But Led Zeppelin is a fantastic band. Okay, a lot of people are saying that Biggie shouldn't have gotten it for other people. I don't know enough about the politics of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I can't really speak to that. Thanks for jumping in on your lunch break, Gary. Much obliged. Mr. Robot uses Carly Rae Jepsen in the final season. That's amazing. If they're making Lethal Weapon 5, I do hope they bring Pesci and The Rock back. Greta Von Fleet is the name of the band. Hey, I am proud of even knowing a modern band because it's hard to find new music I like, and I'm a big fan of that band. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. Greta Von Fleet is fantastic. Was great meeting in New York last week, plus I heard that's hilarious. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang episode, Wedding Watch. Yeah, I may or may not have done a pratfall on the episode of Action Movie Anatomy. I completely fell out of my chair laughing during the episode. So go check out Andrew Guy and I talked about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang over on Popcorn Talk, which Popcorn Talk, by the way, one of the places I got my start hosting. So I'm a big fan of AfterBuzz and Popcorn Talk. They've done a lot for me. They're fantastic. And Andrew Guy, I love as a dude. He's such a fantastic human being. He's great in the Schmoedown, but also as a dude, I'm a fan of that guy. So yeah, check out Action Movie Anatomy with me and him talking Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And once again, thank you everyone in the live chat bringing up all the comic and music-y goodness. Let's move on to Fast 9. We got a Fast 9 trailer teaser. We get the trailer this weekend. The teaser, I didn't know I wanted to care about Dominic Toretto and his kid. I thought it was a plot point that was a little manipulative in 8 because Jason Statham is so hated because of Han that having him save the baby was like very pulling at my heartstrings in a specific way, and I'm like, I see you. But I'm in, man. Dominic Toretto as a dad is fascinating. What they're doing with him intrigues me. What we can get out of all of that universe is going to be fun. There's only 2 left. They're doing a 9 and 10, plus whatever spinoffs. I'm a huge Fast fan. You'll hear me say I'm a huge blank, and I'm a big blank of blank. I'm only going to talk about stuff I care about on this channel, so if I say it's like one of my favorite franchises, that's why it's in the rundown. So I apologize if I sound consistently hyperbolic, but man, the Fast and Furious movies are so good. They're so like Fast 5 is truly just a good film, and the others are, various levels of great. But like it's really incredible how the franchise started with a very silly linear Point Break remake with stealing DVD players, and now it's a giant James Bond franchise with an incredible cast, a huge ensemble. Chris Morgan writes the hell out of them, and 9 looks like just so good. 9 looks... We've only gotten a minute teaser, and I forgot how much Ma Familia mattered to me, man. I love my family of Fast people. I love that franchise. Fun fact, every single Fast movie, I have friends over to my house, and we all watch all of them. Now it's up to a 2-day event. It's a weekend. I take off a weekend, and we watch them all. And we all chip in for barbecue, and I get us a ton of Coronas. And we usually fill my back fridge up with Coronas, because you can have any beer you want, as long as it's Corona. And we do that for the Fast movies. So with Fast 9 coming out, we'll be watching 9 films because we're going to watch Hobbs and Shaw. So 9 movies leading up to the 10th/9th. I'm very excited. I'm really excited to see the cast. I like John Cena when I can see him. So I'm excited to see that addition to the family. And I just think they're so much fun, man. I'm really excited. All right, let's look at the live chat now that we've talked Fast and the Furious. Shaky Graves. That's the 3rd time I've heard about Shaky Graves. He's playing in LA tomorrow. Anyway, I'll check out Shaky Graves. Thank you. I will try that out. I don't think it's weird that Huntress doesn't wear costumes in Birds of Prey because I think they're trying to make it a surrealistic reality but specific focus of the type of wardrobe, and Huntress is a very Gotham in the Batman sense type of wardrobe. So I would have liked to see in the costume, but I understand why it's not in there. Let's see. My big stuff of comics I have so many comics. We're going to be doing a comic episode, absolutely. The Boston Calling lineup this year is amongst the best lineup of music I've ever seen. The fact, if it was just Red Hot Chili Peppers, it'd be enough for me, but I really want to get back for them because I'm a giant Rage Against the Machine fan. Sol Govan, thank you very much. I try to be positive and I try to make the world a little bit better. Thank you. I appreciated that. Casually excited for Fast 9, cautiously excited, various levels of excited. Fast 5 is the Citizen Kane of the franchise. Brian and G, you are absolutely right. Edward Haskell, thank you for always sharing all the good stuff. Coronas are not my favorite beer. They are the beer of Fast and the Furious. There's a line in the film which I quoted. They're not my only beer in life, but they are my only beer when I watch that franchise because I'm a fan of branding. I am all about it. So yeah, I am very excited to dive into my Corona day, and I understand why you don't like them. They're not something it's kind of like, Drake. I wouldn't pick up a Corona on normal days of the week, but during Fast and Furious, that's all I'll touch. Yeah, man, Haskell, I am a metalhead, but more of the 90s ilk. My favorite band is White Zombie. Like, my favorite artists are hip-hop artists. My favorite band is White Zombie by a decent margin. Rage Against the Machine is in that top three. I don't know if that makes me a metalhead or not. Does that count? Does White Zombie and Rage make me a metalhead? I don't know. I don't know what metal is anymore. I don't know what their kids are calling it. All right. Let's see. Moving on to Bad Boys 3. Saw Bad Boys 3 yesterday. I want to do 2 movie reviews. I would like to talk about The Gentleman and Bad Boys 3. Starting with Bad Boys 3. Bad Boys 3 was a movie I didn't think necessarily needed to be made. Don't tell Josh McCouga. I thought that the franchise had done a really good job sending it off with Bad Boys 2. I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's the most Michael Bayest of the movies, I'd argue. I'd say Pain and Gain is probably my favorite film of his, but I think Bad Boys 2 is the most self-actualized Michael Bay. But against all odds, Bad Boys for Life impressed the hell out of me. It had some wonky writing at points, but overall, the action was so much fun. I love these 2 characters back together. I love Joey Pants, man, as the captain. The captain's always a fun character in any buddy cop movie. If you guys heard my rant at the beginning of this episode, buddy cops are my favorite genre, so Bad Boys is obviously going to be near and dear to my heart. Sorry, I got water. But Bad Boys 3 really impressed me with the way it evolved the franchise. It made their age a factor without leaning a little too heavily on it. I know a lot of franchises, when they come back, they play that, like, down to the ground. But I thought this one didn't. It was a huge plot point. It was very important, but it didn't take me out of it. And it was really cool to see Martin Lawrence back with Will Smith. It was fantastic to see Will Smith playing Mike Lowry again. It was nostalgic as hell, which is what we're living in right now. It's interesting the way the world's going, how much we're leaning on nostalgia, but I don't mind, to be honest. I think Stranger Things really opened the door for a lot of things to exist that I wanted to exist, and Bad Boys wasn't one of the ones I thought I wanted, but I'm totally in. I was impressed, and it was fun. It was in that B range for me. Definitely worth seeing in theaters if you can afford it, but not like, oh no, my life's over if I missed it, which is a compliment itself. I think it's a big screen movie. I think it's an action spectacle, so you're going to want to see it in theaters. I have AMC A-List, not a commercial for them, but that means I see everything I can. I try to catch my 3 movies a week, and Bad Boys is absolutely worth your time. And I laughed a lot. It was really funny. The villain was great. The villains were great. Yeah. Bad Boys for Life, man. And now I can't wait for 4. It's gonna be really solid. Okay, let's see what we got in the live chat. John Cena talk. Let's see. You guys should totally. Haskell, I'm down for a rock show with you guys. Let's definitely do that. Rob Zombie puts on an incredible show. I think Rob Zombie and Mindless Self-Indulgence are the 2 artists I've seen the most often. I followed Mindless Self-Indulgence around New England for quite some time. If you don't know my MSI, they're an insane band, a lot of energy. They make me look tame and calm. They're fantastic. And then Rob Zombie and White Zombie, both incredible shows. Let's see. Will The Rock be back for the last one? Yeah, as far as I know, The Rock is back for 10. He's not in 9, but I hear he's in 10. Let's see. Disturbed show in New York, that is fantastic. Their debut album is such a good show. 20 years of Disturbed, that is insane. Hit me up, I got you backstage. Dude, 7 String, that's incredible. I will hit you up, man. Thank you. Absolutely. Let's go see frickin' Rage Against the Machine. I would love that. I will fly to Boston for that. 7 String. I will hit me up. We're gonna scheme. Thank you. That is amazing. I love the internet. All right, back to movies. The Gentleman. Guy Ritchie, I think, has shaped one of the most interesting universes. It's almost a shared universe, his crime British thriller world he's made, where you know immediately you're in a Guy Ritchie film. You know immediately what you're getting into, and I love that he's back. I didn't have a lot of affection for Aladdin because to me it was just keeping him from making his movies, but at the same time, from a business standpoint, I understood that 1 Aladdin probably means 5 insane Guy Ritchie movies because that's the way the industry works, so I was worth losing a year of Guy Ritchie. Rock'n'Rolla is brilliant. Snatch is amongst my favorite movies of all time. His Sherlock Holmes are fantastic. I feel like The Gentleman is in the upper echelon of the Guy Ritchie bar, which is already very high. The characters I felt like they were made for me. Colin Farrell played effectively like an exaggerated version of Coach Kavanaugh to me. Coach Kavanaugh's Connor's coach at SPG. He had this amazing zen-like quality while being very quippy and funny, and he's trying to make sure his fighters, whether they're from the right side of the tracks or the wrong, got on the right side of the tracks. All that reminded me of Coach Kavanaugh. I've only met once. I don't know the guy that well. His vibe was that to me. And he also, Colin, I think, to my knowledge, Colin Farrell's from Dublin, but I noticed like a bit of Crumlin accent in his delivery, so I was wondering if that was intentionally a Coach Kavanaugh nod. Again, don't know Kavanaugh, but that's what I got out of the character. There was also scenes where they were actively making like a hip-hop music video while robbing an underground weed dispensary, and that felt like it was written for me. There was so many moments that Guy Ritchie, who I already adore, felt like it was specifically for me, and that's always really magical when a filmmaker makes something that feels like it's even more for you. I loved The Gentleman. I thought the humor was fantastic. I thought that, Henry Golding is up and coming and going to be huge. He held his own next to, McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Charlie Hunnam. He was incredible. Charlie Hunnam, man, speaking of Coach and Conor, imagine a Conor McGregor film, a biopic, starring Charlie Hunnam, who already looks a lot like him, with Colin Farrell as Coach Kavanaugh, and frickin' Guy Ritchie directing. That is now my dream. Let's make it happen. If you guys know any of those guys, let's put that together. But more about this movie. The Gentleman is not going to be for everyone. A lot of the humor is very crass, and I enjoy that. It's not for everybody. And a lot of the humor is very inappropriately funny, and it got me, man. I haven't laughed this hard in a theater in a really long time. And it was a different tone for Guy Ritchie, where his movies usually are very quick cut and fast paced and really kinetic, which I like, which is why I like him. But this one I feel like was his, hey, look, I can do more than that. So if someone says he's a one-trick pony with his speed editing, they can go like, oh, The Gentleman is not that. And he was able to keep my attention with a more slow burn drama, with action sprinkled in, with the comedy he always had. But the pace was very different, and I really liked that because it showed a different side of him and a different side of his wheelhouse. So The Gentleman really impressed me. If you're going to see anything in theaters right now that's not an Oscar film, I'd say The Gentleman. I'd put The Gentleman in the A range. It's going to be probably in my top 20 of the year. I was all about this movie. I know it's early days. It's only January, but the market left on me definitely has me all about The Gentleman, and I can't wait for what Guy Ritchie does next, and I can't wait to see more out of this world. And I'm getting to be a bigger and bigger fan of Charlie Hunnam. He's great. So I'm a fan. All right. What does the live chat have to say about The Gentleman? Also, this format, I think I'm going to do generally talk about a thing, go into the live chat, talk about a thing, go into the live chat. But once I figure out why Super Chat isn't working, I think I'm going to do more of a streamline, because this is probably going to end up being really long, and I want to streamline it down to like an hour, hour and a half, and then do breakout videos. So the live chat, I'm going to be as interactive as I can, but Super Chats and Streamlabs will be my way to actually catch you guys. Let's see. Guy Ritchie British Gangster movies are the best. Absolutely. Antoine doesn't agree with my rock and roll review. I totally understand. I like it, but not everyone does. Let's see. McConaughey needed something after Shredding at the Firefly one. Yeah, I agree, and I'm glad he did that. Colin Farrell or Brad Pitt in Ritchie films? Ooh. I mean, it's hard to top the Pikey in Snatch, so I think that's one of Brad Pitt's best performances. I'm going to go Pitt just by a hair. But man, did I love Farrell in this. Real close. Colin's from a rich part of Dublin. Castleknock is a posh accent. Colin is an anomaly. Interesting. Did not know that. But I also feel like he was putting on like a more of an outskirts suburb of Dublin accent. Like it didn't feel like the traditional Dublin, but I don't know. I'm not a linguist. Have I talked about Birds of Prey yet? I am about to. I have not. That is actually my next story. Congrats on your first stand-up, by the way. Who are some of your favorite stand-ups? Ooh, great question, Scott Welsh. Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Neil Brennan, Joe Rogan. Those are the ones that like I will pay to see if I see them on a marquee, no matter what. Mark Ellis, big Mark Ellis fan. Yeah, let's go with those. Joey Diaz. I'll think of more. Off the top of my head, those are the ones that jump out. I have not seen the Arrow season finale. I am excited about the spoiler alert moment that happened with Diggle. I know it. I haven't seen it, but I know what happens. I've seen images. One of my favorite underrated movies. Totally agree. I love Green Street Hooligans. I think it's fantastic. Facetious Christ is a great name. Green Street Hooligans is solid. All right. We got Eric Z saying Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Tool, Smashing Pumpkins, and Stone Temple Pilots. All fantastic bands. I saw Roka's Birds of Prey social media review. I'll be jumping on that just next. Sebastian Maniscalco is solid. I won't. If he's on a marquee, I'm excited to see him, but he's not someone I'll always give money to. But I am a fan. He's very funny. His Netflix special is very solid. Let's see. Burr is coming to Vancouver in February. Man, he is fantastic. I've seen Burr a couple times. I just saw him in LA 2 weeks ago, and his new material is brutal and brilliant. Big Mo's movie review. Fantastic hanging out with you in NYC as well. I appreciate it. All right, let's do Birds of Prey. Now, Birds of Prey is a movie that looks like it's going to fully differentiate itself from Suicide Squad. Obviously from Joker, obviously from Shazam, but I love the fact that we are building out this universe in a way that truly expands what DC can do. I feel like Birds of Prey is a power move from DC because the tone of the film looks totally different than anything done before. The style of filmmaking looks different than anything DC has yet, and it still feels like we're going to get a really kinetic, action-packed spectacle that won't alienate audiences. It's a really tricky line to walk because the newest trailer, which is my favorite, has a literal laughing hyena, but the film looks really approachable, and it's rated R. So it's a really hard line to walk, but I feel like they're doing it really well by using its bankable stars as the lead, a brilliant supporting cast, including Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I don't understand how isn't like a marquee name. She's so good. She is, but she's not big enough. Like, she's really good. But Margot Robbie, a lot of people were mad that it was like Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, but in my opinion, without the Harley Quinn marquee name, it's hard to get a Birds of Prey movie made. Whether that's fair or not, I don't know, but I understand why they did it. It looks brilliant to me, and the social media embargo reviews, I couldn't make it to the screening today. I've been running around, and like, to be honest, I feel so bad that it's been 2 weeks of me not being able to do this for you guys. I haven't been able to update my Patreon yet, and that you patrons have been incredibly patient. I'm starting the Patreon stuff after Joey comes over today, so as early as Sunday, as late as Monday, we'll have Patreon stuff. Anyway, the social media reviews are absolutely inspiring, because even the negative ones, it kind of makes sense that why they felt that way. Like, I feel like the social media reviews, they obviously can't reveal too much, but everyone like Roka and a lot of other people whose opinions I value, are saying the things that the trailers look like to me. And there's been enough trailers you can kind of get a shape of the movie. I hear it's John Wick-like action. I hear the characters are outlandish and outrageous. I hear, Ewan McGregor steals the show. To me, these are all the things I thought were coming up. So all of the social media reviews, as long as they don't say it's actual like reheated garbage, I was going to be in. I'm not going to read any more reviews except for the 5 or 6 I've read so far. But for me, what Birds of Prey can do is it can open up the universe a lot more. We've already got the Elseworld aspect of both Shazam, which in my opinion was an Elseworld because the Batman voice, and that's not necessarily canon, but to me, I feel like Shazam is just over here. And you've also got Joker, which is a clear and decided Elseworld. Wonder Woman 84, which I'm wondering if will be an Elseworld. And then Birds of Prey, where Harley Quinn plays the same character, but in a very different way, seemingly. I'd love if Flashpoint uses the Flashpoint plot device and doesn't shatter the world, but it actually brings it together. It'd be really cool if we saw flashes of other universes and it all coalesces after Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey. But the movie itself, I love the color palette, I love the energy, I love what it can be, and I think that the social media reviews really tell a story of that's what we're going to be getting. So I'm excited to see what actually shakes out from it. I haven't seen it yet, once again, but I'm all in, man. I'm going to see it February 6th, so I'll probably have my review up either that night or in the morning, and I'll probably do either a live stream or just a naked review, and then not naked, but like naked clean, its own review, and then do a live stream the next day. All right, live chat, folk. I grew up in Lowell Dracut area. I'm from the Lowell Dracut part of that world, Eric Z. Let's see. Let's scrolling up. How much does AMC A-List cost? $24 in LA, $20 in most of the rest of the country. He's 35 minutes with a 3-hour stream. There is much more to talk about. Absolutely. It's been a bit divisive for people. Granted, I think it has more to do with Harley as a character than the movie plus Suicide Squad. I agree. And also the Harley Quinn show is bomb. So wait till first to join so I don't get charged twice. I don't know how Patreon works. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about AMC? I'm not sure what you're asking about, but I don't think you get charged twice. I think you get charged a month from when you join for any of these monthly services, but I don't know. I pay my AMC like every 10th or whatever. Let's see. Harley cartoon is too good. Am I a Red Sox fan? Casual fan. I'm a casual Sox fan. I'll watch when I have time, but I rarely have time to just sit and watch a game. People agreeing with me on my my Elseworld theory. Still meh on BOP, even with the reactions, just hard for me to disassociate the film from the comics. I just feel like they couldn't have made a Birds of Prey without... I don't know that they could have made a Birds of Prey without a marquee character that the population knows. Like, you need to sell the film. So I understand where you're coming from. It's a really hard sell without like the character that everyone knows in every corner of the country, and people that aren't necessarily pop culture fanatics and aren't necessarily comic fanatics. So you got to do what you got to do, which is really tricky. Let's see. I hope it does well as well. At work, just wanted to show support. Thanks, Justin Towns. Much obliged. All right. Now, let's see what else happened this week. We talked those things. Oh, all right. We got Howard the Duck and Tigra canceled. Now, Howard the Duck, man, that was one of my most anticipated things out of Marvel. I get why it was canceled. I'm imagining my theory about Howard the Duck and why it isn't going forward is they probably are doing something with that character, and I imagine there's a conflict. I don't know this, but I'm assuming like when Kevin Feige took over, he wanted to really keep everything as cohesive as possible. So I feel like that's going to be what's happening. I'm really bummed because I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I really liked that we had so many options with Marvel TV. And I really thought like the Offenders was a magical idea, but I get it. If you've got plans with the character and you've got all these things coming down the pipe, then it's really tricky to walk that line. So unfortunately, I think that's why we lost Howard the Duck. The Tiger Show, it sounds like that was going through production stuff a while ago. They let go of the writing staff, way back, and it seemed like that was having a tricky time finding its tone. Again, I have no inside information, but it just felt like when that one was announced, I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But when Howard the Duck, I was like, oh, man. Because I am a big Kevin Smith fan and a big Howard the Duck fan. I feel like I felt like Howard the Duck was almost the Deadpool show that I never got. Because they have a lot of similarities, and Kevin Smith's writing allows for a lot of insanity, so I was really hopeful. But my question is, what is up with Hitmonkey, man? Because Hitmonkey was announced as part of that madness. Nobody's talked about Hitmonkey. If you don't know who Hitmonkey is John Wick as a monkey. He has a family he misses. He wears a suit. He's very intense. He's emotional, but he's a monkey. He shoots with his hands and with his feet. He is John Wick as a monkey. Guys, what more do you want from me? Hitmonkey? It's right there. I want to know what's up with Hitmonkey. That's where I am. So as bummed as I am about Howard the Duck and Tigra, what is up with my Hitmonkey? Now, we did positively get an announcement that the MODOK cast is very strong. We've known for a while Patton Oswalt was helping get the show made, show running, and also the voice of MODOK. So that's all fantastic. Patton Oswalt is brilliant, and he's an actual sweaty. He's a friggin' nerd. So I think it's going to be in great hands. So I'm excited to hear that's going forward, and I'm excited to see what's up with MODOK. But I am very bummed that we're losing Howard the Duck, and I'm very bummed I don't know what's up with Hitmonkey. What do you guys think? This is fun, because it's like Heroes, but with live chat interaction. All right. And I can talk about music. Let's see, we're talking about Red Sox. MODOK is still going ahead, it's interesting what's going and what isn't. It's fascinating. Howard needs his redemption, damn it. Kevin and Howard's a perfect match. Hitmonkey sounds interesting. Thank you, real girl. Hitmonkey is fascinating. And he's a fairly new character. He's got a really interesting arc in Deadpool, which, bias. But it's fun to see him and Deadpool interact, and also, like, Spider-Man comes into play. It's a good time. I think it's in the Deadpool series that came probably pre-Duggan and Passain. You look up Hitmonkey Deadpool and find out what issues. That's where I'd recommend you discover Hitmonkey. It's a really interesting character, and like you can't go wrong with that kind of character. I'm gonna switch over to the Streamlabs link to make sure I didn't miss anything, just real quick, because I promised that I learned how to use this, so it's important to me that I actually do. All right, and here we got S-Mac Talk 2, 2 Smack, 2 Furious. Thank you, S-Mac Talk 2. I agree with you, and also I think that they should call, if like Bad Boys for Life, obviously they use that title, Bad Boys Forever. I was thinking there was like another Too Fast. It'll come back to me, but thank you, 2 Smack 2. And then Big Mo Movie Review. It was awesome time meeting you this past weekend. You killed it in New York comedy, and it was great sharing fries with the Smiths. Dude, those fries were bomb, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad we got a picture at the big Schmoedown event. It was fantastic meeting you and chatting it up, and thank you for coming to the comedy thing. And yeah, thank you for all you guys in the other side over at Streamlabs. Now, this next news story isn't one I ever want to have to say, but I feel like I have to, man. I'm from LA, and also the guy... like the guy's a verb, right? Like, you say Kobe anytime you make a shot, right? Kobe is such a, he was so much more than basketball. I'm not going to begin to claim I am a basketball fan. I know so little about basketball. I don't know how it's played, and I think that's what makes Kobe such a titan of sports, because I don't know basketball, and this one hit, man. One, hug your family. Make sure they know you love them. Give them all the knowledge, affection, time, because 41's young. And like, what really struck me is athletes are made of health, right? They train all the time. They literally are peak physical condition, and it's a helicopter. So you don't know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in life. So I feel like this was a really eye-opening thing of making sure, like, my family knows I love them. They're usually in these live chats and stuff. But it's hug your family. Tell your friends you care about them. Don't be like stubborn or shy, because it's terrifying how quick life is. And Kobe, like the Mamba mentality is a fascinating way to see the world. It's inspired me time and time again. Once again, I'm not going to claim to be a big Kobe fan. I'm not going to claim to be a big basketball fan, but the fact that I'm not, and it still impacts me the way it has, really just shows the force of nature that he was. So I just wanted to take a minute and show some love to the 9 people on that helicopter, to his daughter who he was with, who was also an incredible athlete. Sending thoughts to his wife and his other daughters. I can't begin to imagine. And I love that hashtag girl dad that was going around, because that's the point, right? So I don't know, just I am a guy that appreciates sports and appreciates comics and appreciates Deadpool and dickish broy things, but I will never hesitate to tell someone I love them or care about them. And I really think the world can use more people like Kobe Bryant to tell you, to appreciate shit. He was very public with his love and affection. He was very open about what he cared about. So if anything, with losing him, I hope the world gets a little better in following after his footsteps and following what he showed you can be. And what an athlete, man, to retire and then come back and be that good. Like, I mean, fuck yeah, Kobe Bryant, we miss you. And I love that they're retiring 24-8 in so many places. And I don't know, I'm not a sports guy, so it's hard for me to talk about it without feeling like a poser. But Kobe the man, Kobe the legend, rest in peace, and you meant a lot to a lot of people, including me. So thank you for fucking everything. Okay. Into less tragic news and into stuff that isn't as emotionally jarring. Let's do a pull list. You guys want to talk about some comics? Let's talk about some comics. Today is Wednesday. Now, my Wednesday warriors. That means today you either went to the comic store or you're going to be going to the comic store soon to pick up some books. So I'm going to give you guys some recommendations. Let's talk about today's books. I had been gone a couple weeks. I'm going to go through what I read last week. I'm going to try to read, I'm 4 weeks behind in comics. I'm going to try to read 2 weeks at a time. So by 2 weeks from now, I'll be caught up and keep reading all the stuff. So either way, these are the ones I'm pulling. I haven't read some of the issues before them yet, so I'm a little behind. But my pulls for the week are Action Comics 1019, Brian Michael Bendis continuing his reveal of Superman. I am fascinated. I am curious. I am very excited for this book. Next up, we've got Criminal number 12. If you don't read Criminal, good God, it's fantastic. Sean Phillips. It is a brutal book. It is a fantastic anthology series. It is a very different. It's not a capes book. It's about crime and noir. It's a good read. Deadpool: The End. Friend of the show, friend of the me, Joe Kelly, one of the best Deadpool writers of all time, is back on Deadpool. He's writing the very last Deadpool story ever. Joe Kelly doing a single one-off means you got to pick this book up because it'll cost you $5 for the whole story. Deadpool: The End, number 1. It, hold on, actually. Visual aid. Deadpool: The End, number 1. Looks like your secret bag of comics. Looks like this. So, if you see this book in a store and you haven't read it, you should read it. Mike Hawthorne is on the art, and Mike Hawthorne is a brilliant, brilliant Deadpool artist. I think his line work is great. I think his expressions are great. I think the way he shapes Deadpool is funny and also action-packed, which is what you want for the character. And once again, Joe Kelly, one of the best Deadpool writers of all time. Also, while we're in my bag of comic goodies, which I'm not going to show you everything in here, check this out. Oh, look at this baby. Got that today. I am 35 issues from every Spider-Man ever in print. That includes Peter Parker, Sensational, Spectacular, Ultimate, Web of, Untold Tales of, all the Spidey runs, all the Spidey annuals. I am only 35 issues from every mainstream title and only 9 annuals from a full run of Spider-Man from 1963 to today, and I do need Amazing Fantasy 15. That is included. So, look at this beauty. This was one of my 36. Now it's down to 35. Very happy. Very happy. When I get a comic, it's so rare to find one that's both good quality and affordable, and the very short list of comics I have. So, because, I mean, you guys know about the Collider stuff. I'm not sitting pretty on money, but I was able to afford that, and that made me really happy because I've worked a lot in the last few weeks, and it felt like a little reward from the universe. The universe was like, here, an affordable gift of a comic you need. Anyway, back to the pull list. We've got Doctor Strange number 2. Mark Waid is writing Doctor Strange as both a surgeon and a master of the mystic arts, and that is so much fun because it is everything you want out of a Doctor Strange book. The art is good, the writing's funny, he's snarky, it's a fantastic book, and it's only on issue 2 this week, so pick up issue 1 and issue 2. It is very easy to catch up on. Immortal Hulk number 30, y'all. Number 30 is... it's an anniversary book, but it's also not that deep into the run. If you're not reading Immortal Hulk, you are missing out on one of my favorite runs of Hulk of all time and one of the best horror comics and mainstream comics in a long time. Between DC's Black Label and DC's Hill House Comics and Immortal Hulk, there's a lot of really good adult-oriented comic book stuff that is just genre redefining. We're going to look back at the Immortal Hulk in 10 years as what a powerful run. Next up, Jessica Jones Blind Spot number 2. I have actually never read this run. Jessica Jones Blind Spot number 1 was 2 weeks ago. I haven't read it yet because I'm really behind, but I am a big fan of Kelly Thompson and a huge fan of Jessica Jones. This was a digital-only book they're bringing back in print. I read in print typically, so I'm really excited to see what is going on with this book. Very excited. Next up, we've got Sex Criminals number 26. That's right, after a long, long hiatus. Chip Zdarsky, as you know, is one of my favorite writers. This is Chip Zdarsky art. That's right, it is a book drawn by Chip Zdarsky. It is messy. It is depraved. It is weird. It's about these people that when they bang and they orgasm, they realize they can freeze time. So what do you do with that power? You rob banks. And so much goes into it. There are sex police. There's a lot of kink in this book. The art is really funny because the details in the art, like in the background, there's a lot of dirty jokes. It's very funny. Not for kids, if you couldn't tell from any of my description. Sex Criminals has been off for like a year, and it's back with 26, and it's the final arc. So I'm very excited. Chip Zdarsky, thank you for all you do. Thor number 2, we talked about it on the last one I did. We talked about Thor number 1, so I'm not going to dive deep too far into there, but Nick Klein and Donny Cates on Thor. I don't know what more you want. X-Force number 6. X-Force has been one of the best X-Men books in a long time. Personally, I like the more dark and depraved side of the X-Men. It balances out the light and fluffier, and I think that this X-Force is brutal. I love this book. I talked about it already, so I don't want to take too much time on it. And then, I missed it last week because I wasn't here, but Wonder Woman 750, there's a Cami Garcia run in there, like a storyline in there. It's also a giant 750. Check out Wonder Woman 750. I haven't read it yet, but it is on my pull list for this week, even though it's from last week. Let's see what's up with the live chat, everybody. We got 100 people in here, which is fantastic considering I just randomly decided to go live as soon as I could. Mustache Reviews. Let's see. Thank you for not spoiling it. Mustache Reviews says, hey, I know we're on a touchy subject, but quickly just wanted to ask thoughts on Arrow season finales and the big moment with Diggle. Won't spoil anything for the chat. Thank you for not spoiling anything. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say I think the moment will tie into a certain HBO Max show, and I do think it's no coincidence that Greg Berlanti is crossing over between the CW and HBO Max, and I think after a moment that happened in Crisis, we see just how shared the universe is. So I do feel like the Diggle moment is going to have ramifications into the future. So I hope that answers your question without ruining it for anyone else, and thank you for jumping in the Streamlabs, so I would definitely see your question. Hope that answers it. I do think that Berlanti has something to do with it. I think HBO Max will be affected, and I do think this has long-term ramifications that I'm very excited to see. All right. Let's see what the people are saying. People sharing stuff. 10 books. Hell yeah. Pull list pretty dead this week. Read a lot of manga, though. Fair enough. Then in the end, I haven't read yet. I'm behind. Donny Cates Thor is fantastic. Hawksbox. Hell yeah. Whose face is on that pillow behind you? That is Sir Robert Downey Jr. right there. That is Harry Lockhart himself on that pillow. I've got 8 of those. And this one is Tom Cruise. And it's a smaller pillow because Tom Cruise is a smaller human. See that? Little Tom Cruise next to Teddy Bear? Yep. That is, I have a weird thing where I like art of, this is a Civil War General Tom Cruise. So I collect weird pillows because I'm a normal person. All right, let's see here. A lot of people talking about their comic stuff. Teddy Bear is adorable. All right. Thank you very much, live chat. Back to the news. We also... let's talk about the Schmoedown. I don't know if any of you guys in this live chat are for Schmoedown folk, but the Schmoedown happened this past week. I'm going to try to go on backstage at some point soon. There might be some backstage shenanigans with certain members of the Mouthy Mercs happening tomorrow. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I tried to... Being a manager's got a lot of moving parts, so when things evolve and change, you gotta evolve and change. So we also had... I don't want to ruin any of the stuff for people that didn't have the pay-per-view. The actual match drops on the 6th on YouTube, but do check out the pay-per-view, so when you see me on backstage or something, I can talk about it. I will say, without spoilers, I am so proud of Shazam / My Mouthy Mercs. Man, it's a hell of a freaking round, man. That entire match is just, it's awesome. So it's hard not to spoil anything, but it's awesome. And also, I love training with those guys. We did a lot of drills. We did a lot of, like, long-term trivia training. We really shaped a cool thing, and I'm really proud of them. I also love the spectacle. Everyone I met out there was absolutely... That's what I'll talk about. I can talk about the people, because that doesn't spoil anything. Every single one of the schmoes I met in New York was amazing. I did my first ever stand-up set. I literally just jumped on a stage, which was super intimidating, but I'm so glad I did. Similar message to the Kobe thing. Do stuff. You never freaking know, man. I found out at 7 that I was gonna do stand-up, and I went up at 9:20. So I just kind of did it, and I am so happy I did. I had some prep because I keep a note in my phone called funny ? And I just write down things I find funny. So I looked at that note for 2 hours, jumped up on stage, kind of assembled a thing. I do not think I'll be putting it on YouTube. I don't have a copy, but even if it does appear, I'm not going to be posting it because I want to shape my shit better. But down the line, I do want to keep developing the skill. I do want to do more stand-up. So as time goes, I will be putting something together, probably in like a year. I want to shape something, but I'm hopeful. But yeah, I went to New York. I met a ton of incredible Schmo fans. A lot of people I see in this live chat I got to meet in person, which is dope. And New York's also one of my favorite places in the world. I went to New York a little early because I had some meetings that if they turn into anything, you guys will be the first to know. But the meetings went exceedingly well, and I'm really happy with those to vague book you. But yeah, New York is one of my favorite cities in the world. I love the hustle. I love that people take their time seriously. No one disrespects you by being aloof. If you're in a meeting, they're with you. Everyone's there for a reason. And the city itself just has this incredible creative pulse. It's an artistic, beautiful representation of humanity. And the pizza's bomb, which is very important to me. So New York was great. We'll talk about the Schmo once more people have seen it, but I'm very proud of my boys, and yeah, it was great to meet any of you that were out there in New York. You are fantastic. Let's see what the live chat has to say. Let's see. Yo, Silver Surfer Black isn't... so I'm not going to scroll all the way back up and do all that. Once again, Streamlabs and the Super Chat, which I'll learn will be how I communicate, but for now I'm going to try to get as many as I can. Silver Surfer Black is on Amazon for $10 right now. Thank you, Helm Media. That is fantastic news. Silver Surfer Black is so good. I casually like nu metal. I was saying earlier, like White Zombie, MSI, Rage Against the Machine. That's kind of my music on the rock side. I don't know what that counts as for terminology. Thanks, Caleb. I am very excited about it. Let's see. Did I see Spidey and am I saying I looked, man. I looked so hard. I didn't see Spidey once. Am I moving to New York City? Probably not. But maybe. But probably not. But we'll see what happens. We'll absolutely see what is going on with that. And then Jack's Packet said, I hope you've got a Potter and or Star Trek specialist on your squad. I got some people, and I also got some ideas for 9 and 10. So I absolutely think we're gonna see what happens. All right, guys, we are powering through the news. It has been an hour, and we have gotten through a bunch. We've got a few more things to go, and there are 108 of you in here with me, so thank you. Obi-Wan kind of got delayed. That was news from last week. I say kinda because apparently the release date is still the same, but the filming got delayed. I think people kind of jumped the gun on this one and made it a bigger deal than it was. Again, I might eat my words later, but if the release date's still the same and Ewan McGregor's not worried, which obviously he can't express worry because he's the lead of the show, but I feel like we'll see. I think it might be okay. I don't know. Time will tell. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the Super Chat. Eduardo, I got the monetization figured out and the Super Chat's not working. Why? I don't know. But by next video, I will know. And thank you for your patience. I'm not sure. But yeah, the Obi-Wan thing, I know it was a big story. I know it went everywhere. I'm not going to worry about it until later. Obi-Wan is a show I'm super excited about because I'm a big Ewan McGregor fan, and I was really impressed with The Mandalorian. So we will see what happens with that. But I feel like it was a lot of like, whoa, journalism. Like things just got bigger than they might have necessarily actually been. We need to talk about 2 indie comics that got picked up for movies this week. We got a movie out of Fear Agent, which is Rick Remender and Tony Moore and Jerome Pena. I'm a huge Jerome Pena fan. That art is incredible. Like Tony Moore, love Rick Remender. Rick Remender of Deadly Class, a show that was much too short-lived. If you haven't watched Deadly Class, read the comic, then watch it. If you have watched Deadly Class, pick up the comics because where they leave off is a direct tie into the comics. The comics effectively become a sequel for the show. But read the whole thing. Deadly Class is brilliant. Rick Remender is absolutely incredible. Big fan of that guy, and so I'm excited. I don't know Fear Agent. I'm going to own that. I'm not going to pretend I've read it, and I'm not going to be that guy that reads you a Wikipedia article and pretends to have read it. I haven't actually touched this book, but now I 100% will, and that's the cool thing about these movies and shows is you learn new stuff. And I also, speaking of comics I haven't read yet, but absolutely will now, Memetic. This is Jack Tinian IV, who I adore his Batman. That run is already fantastic. I liked his stuff on Detective Comics. Something is Killing the Children is brutal and amazing. So I'm a big fan of his. And Memetic is a book of his that just got picked up. Apparently it's just a book, like a trade, but it's all collected. So I'll be picking that up as soon as possible. A cat just started chewing on the cord to this. So I'll be picking that up as soon as possible. That is Eric Donovan and James Tinian. So Fear Agent and Memetic just got picked up. Indie comics are killing it, man. Stuff that I haven't read is being optioned for movies and TV shows. I am very excited to be a nerd right now. There's so much to read, so much to do. To check out those 2 books before they become other properties, and I've only heard good things about both of them. Let's see what is going on in the live chat. Just a couple of these. Let's see. AJ Lancaster, I know what I'm doing for 9 and 10. No need to be ashamed. I do appreciate it, though, but no need to be ashamed, and those guys are great. Let's see. If you only had $25 a month to buy comics, which books would you buy? Ooh, that's a great question. My number 1 most anticipated book is, the new Tom King, Mitch Gerads book. It's my most anticipated, and I forgot the title. Secret Adventures? Strange Adventures. Jesus. Strange Adventures would be up there. Immortal Hulk would be on there. Deadpool, Spider-Man be on there. That's what, $20? Damn. And then X-Force, I think that'd be my run. When Saga comes back, that takes over precedent. I think those would be my ones if I had that. Yeah, that's hard. That's a fair question, and I get it. Like, money is expensive, which is ironic, right? Let's see. We also got word that Justice League Dark is moving forward. We officially have movement on Justice League Dark. It is coming from J.J. Abrams' own Bad Robot, which I think is really interesting considering the timing with all the Superman conversations. It feels like he was taking meetings for Justice League Dark, or he was taking general DC meetings, which turned into Justice League Dark. Either way, that's a really exciting movement on that property. If you guys don't know, Guillermo del Toro, a lot of people have been attached to Justice League Dark, and JJ at Bad Robot, they can actually get some moves made. I think this might actually be when we get to see it. Justice League Dark is an incredible book you should check out. It's kind of like more the magic and mysticism, and there's a lot of, obviously, dark elements, but there's a lot of really cool characters that would not normally get their time to shine, and I love the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves, but I would love to see a very authentic John Constantine Hellblazer in a Justice League Dark. I'd love to see Swamp Thing as part of that team, but most of all, Zatanna, man. I want a freaking big screen Zatanna so bad. So Justice League Dark, that making moves is a fantastic bit of news. I am very thrilled to announce that is moving forward as far as I know. Oh, and also Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate should absolutely be involved. They're going to have a hard time with the popularity of Doctor Strange, and that's where it gets tricky with these characters that are like that amalgam universe where they paired up the DC and Marvel parallels. Dr. Fate is now going to have to chase that, right? And it doesn't really matter which one was first in the comics. A lot of times DC copied Marvel, Marvel copied DC. I don't actually know who came first, the chicken or the egg, the fate of the Strange. But I do know that now that Doctor Strange got a movie first, that's going to be an interesting thing that they parallel. I see Dorina for Zatanna in my phone, and that is a funny idea. I'm sure. Yeah, why not? I've never seen Dorina act, but man, she is Zatanna-esque. Okay, we also found out this week The billion-dollar Captain Marvel 2 is getting... Want to see some magic? Guinness just appeared in my hand. You guys are often wondering what I drink. We've talked about Sam Adams. We've talked about Corona. Today, this is real beer. This is what beer is. It's right here. And it's fantastic. I am very excited for real beer. Oh, I'm rarely quiet on my own page, but that is a moment worth appreciating. Oh, man. You want to know what happiness tastes like? A stout. Okay, Captain Marvel 2. It took a long time to get here. It was funny, like, that movie felt like it was greenlit forever ago, but they finally announced writers for it. The movie made $1 billion. Of course they're going to make another Captain Marvel. There's been so much animosity because... I don't know, man. The internet's really tricky for me. I don't like to point fingers or say anything, but the movie made $1 billion, and everyone's like, they want a new Captain Marvel. I'm like, I doubt that. The movie made $1 billion. Personally, the first one is in the mid-range for my Marvel films. Like, it's not one of my favorites. It's not one of my most hated. I like the film, but I haven't rewatched it a lot, so I'm not someone that's like, Captain Marvel's the best thing since sliced bread. But they need to grow the character more. I want to know more about the character. I want to see, as things go cosmic, all of this makes sense. It's right there. It makes a lot of sense. And also, like, I want to see Brie Larson get to flex a little. I want to see her change that character up. I think Brie Larson has a lot of potential. I think Brie Larson's an incredible actress. I think Brie Larson in most everything got more to do than she got in Captain Marvel. And that's no fault of her. So I'd like to see the Brie Larson that I found out got cast play Captain Marvel. Like, I'm really excited to see the Brie Larson I love from Scott Pilgrim and The Room in Captain Marvel 2. And once again, this isn't to knock the writers and the directors in the first one. I have no problem with it. But I know she has more room to grow. Kind of like the Doctor Strange thing. I like Scott Derrickson a lot, and I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but I liked Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange more in Infinity War and Endgame because I'd already met him. I knew him. I like that guy. Like, you can do a lot. So I'm the same with Captain Marvel, where I'm really excited to see the character grow. I'm really excited to see what Brie does with her. I'm really excited to see... I mean, the first one made $1 billion. How much money are they going to throw at this thing? I want to see a cosmic movie that is like nothing we've seen before. And between that and the Eternals, Marvel, a lot of people are worried about Phase 4. I'm ready for Marvel to blow my freaking mind all over again. I feel like Phase 4 is the same level of stakes as Phase 1, where Phase 1 had to build a universe, but no one had the expectations they knew now. Phase 4 has to continue a universe, but the expectations are so high. So I feel like it's Phase 4 is going to be something special, so I'm really excited. And I'm excited to see what Captain Marvel 2 can be. I'm really excited for them to announce a director. I have wanted... there's a number of directors I've wanted in the MCU for some time, and I think when this is a little bit farther along, I'll give you guys some of my like director fan casting. But Captain Marvel 2 announcement felt like it was like old news, but it just happened, and it makes sense. I'm excited to see it go forward. All right, live chat. What do we got? Brother Voodoo is rumored. That is true. Taste of Home, you're right. The best way to drink Guinness is draft, but I don't have a keg yet. But I will. You guys, it's going to be problematic, y'all. When I got, like, cozy money, there's going to be just Guinness taps in every room of my house. You're not going to see me much. Actually, you will. I'll just live chat with Guinness drafts. It'll be like a cartoon, like, Irish commercial where I'm just, like, pouring a Guinness really slowly, putting it down, letting it settle, pouring a little more, putting it down, the proper pour, and then talking. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, the rumors about Doctor Strange do interest me. Captain Marvel, you giving your ratings. Excellent. I'm glad people dig it. What is your ranking for some MCU movies? Ooh. I mean, I think Winter Soldier is still my number 1. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is probably my number 2. I think Infinity War is probably my number 3. Man, off the top of my head, this is... I probably have a note. Oh, it's in my phone, which I'm talking to. Guys, I'm a professional. The phone that I'm using has my list, and I just looked for it like I lost my phone. I will tell you my list is next week. I'll write it down. Thank you for the question. I will make that part of next week's show. Also, I might do another live stream like at midnight tonight once I have my setup, or tomorrow. Might get an extra one of these. I don't know yet. Let's see. If someone... Am I on Untapped? I am not, but I want to be. I need to get on Letterboxd and Untapped, because I like beer and I like movies. For someone that likes Guinness and whiskey, do I like Irish car bombs? I do like Irish car bombs, but I don't like hangovers, and they usually give me hangovers. We do... Actually, when I go traveling, a lot of times Irish car bombs are a tradition. I'm a fan of Irish car bombs, but man, they hurt me later. And I do like them with cream, which some people don't. I'm a fan of Bailey's in my Irish car bomb, for what it's worth. The Eternals is going to blow everyone's mind. I totally agree. I got to take my dad to Captain Marvel because my dad hadn't seen the Marvel movies since Iron Man. He wouldn't be spoiled. That's so cool. That's a really good point. With prequels, you have that kind of ability, and maybe with Black Widow, you can do that. But they might have flashbacks and forward, so I don't know if that's safe. But that's a really cool. Thank you for telling me that. That's rad. I will rank the MCU next time by looking forward to the phase of Avengers Campus. Yes, I cannot wait for the Avengers Campus. Garth McMurray, welcome, man. Friend of the show. Good to see you. If I ever had Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shots, they are delicious. They are. Okay, back to the news. We've got UFC. All right, I have not been around since the frickin' UFC fight. We're going to talk the curls part of Koi's Comics, Cinema, and Curls, and that is, of course, the UFC. I loved the undercard. I loved the main card. I was really impressed with, like, O'Shea. O'Shea Osborne. I was really impressed. The Holly Holm fight went different. I thought Holly would win. I just didn't think that fight would go that way. What else happened in that fight? Man, that was a while ago now. I need to look at the card. I'm going to look at the card. While I talk, I'm going to look at the card. Now, the Conor fight itself, which I can obviously talk about without looking at the card, which was the main event, and for me, the biggest fight in a year, because I'm a giant Conor McGregor fan, and I was really curious how he was going to come back, and like what kind of fighter we'd see. Multiple episodes I told you guys, I thought we were going to get a Conor like he was in 2016, but with 2019 knowledge. I thought we were going to get the best Conor we'd ever seen. I watched the tape. Check the tapes! Check out the last 2 episodes of this show, and I literally said we're going to see a Conor with focus, but with slightly more knowledge, and he's going to be like the best we've ever seen him, and I totally think that is the Conor we got. Not only was he a better man during the press conferences, he was composed, he was... Conor's always been one of the best talkers in the history of... I'll be hyperbolic. You know what? Call me out if you want. I would argue Conor McGregor is one of the best talkers in the history of sport. Any sports. But I really liked him in this one because he was respectful. He was like a samurai. There was honor and poise to him. There was so much dignity in the way he respected Cerrone. There was this actual pride to be fighting. And you could tell he was hungry, man. That guy's eyes were back to being a lion. That dude was ready to maul. So the fact that he was like that during the press conferences, I knew that fight was going to be absolutely insane. And then it was 40 seconds of... spoiler alert for a fight from a week ago, the absolute most brutal beatdown I may have ever seen, because it was like discovering a new button on a video game. Like, who knew shoulders could be used like an offensive move? I've seen shoulders used as like a defensive move. I've seen shoulders used as an offensive move, but in like a throwaway, not a throwaway, but in a more deflecting way. I've never seen a shoulder thrown like a punch multiple times, shattering an orbital bone, shattering his nose. Right now, Cerrone is suspended from, like, he can't fight. Not like he's in trouble, but he's suspended because of medical. And Cerrone's the most award-winning fighter in UFC. His stats are incredible. So for me, it wasn't a matter of Conor being he was so hungry, and it was so good to see that Conor back, to the point that Cerrone never got the chance to do anything. And that was insane. Because Cerrone's a brilliant fighter. Like, I would love to see a rematch. I don't know what will happen. I'd like to see Conor fighting Tony Ferguson. I'd like to see Conor fighting... Obviously, I'd love to see the third Diaz fight. I would love to see another Cerrone fight. Who else would be good? Mizdoval, I don't know if I want that or not, but I'd watch it. But, like, this Conor is the culmination of all 5 years he's been a professional fighter at the UFC. I think it's 5 now. And it was just everything I wanted. The focus, the versatility, the inventiveness, the combination of shoulders, knees, and kicks that he literally never stopped moving. And every single thing, even when he missed, he was able to adjust and turn that into his next move. He was Super Saiyan, man. There was a flawless performance. All 40 seconds were absolutely incredible. And I'm elated. If you guys can't tell, I'm a very excited UFC fan because Conor's my boy, and I'm really proud of him. And right after the fight, hugging Cerrone's grandma, what he had to say when he went over and kissed him on the forehead and they had a talk. Like, I love to see that level of respect, dignity, poise. I was so impressed, man. And all the biases aside, like, I'm a huge Cerrone fan. Conor's my favorite sports athlete, so to see him do that exceedingly well is obviously going to make me happy. Let's see what else. Who else is on the card? Oh yeah, the Alexei Maurice Green fight was crazy. Those dudes are powerhouses, man. Like, that was like watching, like, you could just see the weight, and they still moved, man. There was just so much weight in that ring. O'Day Osborne lost, but I think we are going to see this kid. I think O'Day Osborne's got a good future ahead of him. That was the bantamweight fight. Brian Kelleher was also incredible. Something about O'Day Osborne gives me a lot of hope, and it was cool to see Brian Kelleher do that well. He really put in the work. Anthony Pettis winning, I thought was going to happen. I was wrong. Anthony Pettis is such a creative fighter. He does a lot of, like, him and Tony Ferguson's one of my favorite fights ever. Wasn't that long ago, but it was a really brilliant fight, so I was really surprised by this Carlos Diego Ferreira guy, who I don't know. I'll own that. So that was a great fight. And then also the women's strawweight fight getting canceled was a bummer because I was really excited for Alexa Grasso. So that didn't work out, but it was a crazy fight. And then the card before that, there was that one really bloody fight that was absolutely insane. But either way, the Conor fight, I'm elated. I went to Dublin and friggin' played around at SBG for a bit, so I'm loyal and biased to SBG. Any fighter out of that camp, I'm gonna be rooting for. But to see Conor not just win, but to win with so much dignity. It just feels like we got our Conor McGregor back. So I'm excited. That's another, I could do an hour on that. I won't, because I know a lot of you guys are here for comics, but I'm a very happy Irishman. All right, let's check out the live chat. All right, we got some message retracteds. What did you guys say? Oh, you didn't get notified. I'm sorry, Christine. Well, welcome here. Finish this out with us and then rewind. We talked about a lot of stuff. There was a whole lot of internet on here. Thank you for joining. Haven't gotten to watch UFC in forever? You totally should. Cerrone is an incredibly tough fighter. I totally agree, Darren. He is insane to even withstand any of that. The fact that what a brutal thing. Shoulder punches came from John Jones and Chael Sonnen, but Conor had an excellent fight. I've seen the John Jones shoulder, and I agree that's definitely, like, that was inspired by it. I think what I'm speaking to is the execution of it and the way it landed. I'm not sure I've seen the Jones do the same, but you are right. I totally agree with that is the impetus. Let's see. Conor versus Tony. Conor versus... I don't want to pronounce his name. Gaethje? I would love to see that fight. That dude is incredible. That dude coach actually wants him to fight next. It's Gaethje. I would love to see that fight. I think that dude is incredibly fast, and he's got so much power behind his speed that I'd love to see that. Let's see. Brian, it's cool if you don't like watching women's MMA. I totally understand. It's hard to watch. I don't think it's bad at women because it's women fighting women. It's not like a dude. I don't know. That's tricky, but I get it. Like, it's hard to see anyone get brutalized in any capacity. Totally understand. Soul Gavin, I got my wisdom teeth taken out 2 weeks ago and I'm not allowed to lift anything. Haven't been able to go to the gym in 2 weeks. Any recommendations on what I can do in the gym until I can lift weights again? Soul, what can you do in the gym without lifting weights? Cardio, but be careful not to, be careful with your breathing because you don't want to, cause dry sockets because that's obviously a thing. Body weight stuff, but be really careful. I would do planking over high rep push-ups. If you're going to do push-ups, mix up the distances. Fatigue, that's what you do. Fatigue muscles that you don't usually work. That way you're exerting yourself differently, but you're also training to failure. So when you get back to the gym at full strength, it's new shit. So do leg lifts, do Supermans, do planks, do things that are going to exhaust you so you can keep your endurance up but you don't hurt yourself. And then if you're usually a push-up guy, do a bunch of diamonds. If you're usually a diamonds guy, do a bunch of wide arms. If you're usually a wide arm guy, do a bunch of military. Change what you're doing, but don't overexert yourself because, man, wisdom teeth suck. Don't fuck with that. But if you want to work out, find some body weight stuff. Also, maybe if you're careful, farmer's carries, get some cardio in, carrying around some kettlebells, maybe some high, not high speed, but high incline, treadmill stuff. Be careful, but there's stuff you can do. Erdo did do it. I agree. Valentina Shevchenko's fighting style is absolutely brilliant. She is such a boss. I totally agree. Gaethje is how you pronounce it. Thank you. Gaethje. Oh, yeah, I can see that with the TJE. I want the Gaethje fight. I think it'd be really strong. Okay, back to the news. We are almost done, guys. We have 2 more stories. We have been going for an hour and 20 minutes. One of these days, these will not be feature length. Today is not that day. Last 2 stories we're going to talk about are Guinness. Watchmen 2. I love they're not doing a second sequel. I guess it is a second sequel. I love they're not doing a second season. I think that it's going to be a very interesting HBO standard they're setting, that HBO would rather the things be honorable to the creative, and I think that Damon not coming back is him standing by how much he loves Watchmen. I think that is a perfect season. I love the symmetry of it. I love the tightness of it. I love that it lands. It stuck the landing. A lot of people were like, oh, Damon doesn't land. No, that stuck the landing. So I'd rather not have a second season, and I'll just rewatch that first season whenever I feel Watchmen frisky. I'm really happy, and I'm really glad Damon stuck by his guns, and I'm really proud of HBO. I'm really proud of Warner Brothers. I'm really proud of DC, because I don't want to have it sullied. I'm a giant True Detective Season 1 fan, and Season 2 hurt me so bad I still haven't seen Season 3, and I've heard it's good. But I'm that hurt, and I don't want to be hurt again. So I would say Watchmen made the right call, and I'm really excited to see the next thing, which is Sandman. I think Sandman is going to blow people away just like Watchmen. I think that DC and Warner Brothers are doing really cool stuff with television, and I think it's the right move. So when that announcement came out, it was the first time they said, like, canceled, and I was like, correct. So no more Watchmen. It was perfect. Let it be the beautiful, beautiful piece of art. You don't add a mustache to the Mona Lisa. You let it be. I was afraid the second season would be a mustache. That metaphor made more sense in my head. All right. Final bit of news. From the longest to go, I did all of these in roughly reverse chronological order. The last thing I wanted to talk about on the last episode was the Bloodshot trailer. This is a 2-week-old trailer, but if you are the 104 people still in this live chat after an hour and 20 minutes, you care about my opinion. For that, I thank you. So this is 2-week-old news. The Bloodshot trailer looks dope. Bloodshot is a decently obscure character that Vin Diesel is playing. The character has nanotechnology in his blood that rebuilds him as he is hurt. He has a few other abilities. Unfortunately, the trailer came out right around the same time as the Morbius trailer, so it didn't get nearly enough love, in my opinion. I talked about Morbius. I'm probably part of the problem, but I really think that this movie's going to surprise people. I think the more indies get greenlit, the better off we are. I think the more obscure comics get made, the better off the entire genre is. I'm of the belief that comic books do get sold more after comic book movies. A lot of people think it's just the same. Like, people go to the theater and they don't go to the comic store. I disagree. You guys are proofs in the pudding, right? You're watching this because you found me because of me talking about comic movies, which means you guys know more about comics. So I think Bloodshot getting made is a great testament to where we could go with things. And I'm very excited to see the movie. I think the tone is fun. I think the playfulness of the trailer is fun. I think Vin Diesel loving the character is a great sign for what we're going to get. The directing looks great. It looks like a good version of a 90s comic movie, and I think that's a positive, just like the Morbius trailer. I'm way more in than I thought I was going to be. So, for me, Bloodshot looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to wrap up with some live chat and see what we got here. Garth is upset about the Watchmen cliffhanger. I didn't feel like it was a cliffhanger. I thought it was interpretive, and I get what you're saying, but I like that, man. Now I can imagine, or not, and I think that's a lot of fun. Valentina and Thug Rose have some of the most flawless standing executions, not just women's MMA, but the sport as a whole. I totally agree. I blame gravity. They absolutely do. And then Spider-Man video game absolutely blew away. It is fantastic. Some people think it looks like a B movie, but I think it's going to be great. I think that Deadpool will be a Redbox rental. I get that. Let's see. What do I think about Video Drew getting traded? I think it works. Is the Bloodshot comic worth buying? They just got a new Bloodshot comic that just started. What up, Ireland? Mark Cahill from Ireland. I think Bloodshot is worth buying, but only buy the first issue because the tone is very specific. Might not be for you, but I think you'll dig it. And then last question I'm gonna do. I'm so happy there was no Watchmen 2, but do you think HBO will let it stay canceled? Yes. I think HBO made the right call, and I think they're absolutely going to stick by it. I'm going to end on Watchmen because I think it's the best superhero show, hard stop, and I'm going to end on a good note, and I'm going to wrap this up. The great Joey Rasul just walked in the door, and he's going to help me. Hey, it's Joey Rasul. He's going to help me make sure I know what I'm doing with all this YouTube stuff. So this is theoretically the last wobbly camera, hackneyed, no microphone, I don't know how to end it video you get from me. But I want to thank you for joining me, and as always, I want to thank comic books for existing. Y'all are great. Koi Pond, forever. So much love.
Has, like, all of the chronologies, all of the family trees.
Welcome to the post-credit scene of Koi's Comics, Cinema, and Curls. If you're a regular viewer of the show, you know that I don't know technology. If even to the point of having an echo. Look at this shameless host that doesn't know tech. As always, I'd like to thank Adam Smith in the booth of Collider, who made my job look like I could do it. And I'd like to thank you guys all for joining for this post-credit scene. Whoever gets the first thing in the live chat, we'll talk about that for 2 minutes, so this post-credit scene is worth having. I'm going to see what the first live chat question is, and I will do that question. But in the meantime, I would like to talk to you guys about Guinness beer. I'm kidding. Please, someone put something in the live chat. Thoughts on the big bad for the next phase? Great question! Okay, that'll be the last question. I think it is going to be either Doctor Doom by way of Latveria and making it more political and intrigue if they want to go grounded, or if they decide to go cosmic, a la Captain Marvel 2, a la The Eternals, all those directions, it'll be Galactus. So, I could see them either expanding this way or imploding this way, and I think my money would be on them getting smaller after Endgame and Infinity War. The last thing you want is to keep expanding and sully the market. So I would like a more contained thing to kind of like, it's like the Big Bang, right? You let it grow and contract and grow and contract. I would like Phase 6 to be Kang. I would like time travel introduced, and I think with that time travel, Galactus and all those bigger, broader things. And then after we've not had our beloved Chris Evans and Downey Jr. in the frickin' series, have Kang then, so we can have a friggin' Downey Jr. scene in 10 years when it doesn't feel like pandering. That's what I'd do. I'd have Doctor Doom now, and I would also prefer if they make these movies more contained again, because I'd like to have as much on Earth as in space, and I'd like the Eternals to feel special because it is big and bold and crazy, and I'd also like the Young Avengers to be the next Avengers movies, and that's also going to be contained by its very nature. Alright, that was your post-credit scene. Thank you very, very much for the question, Snowboarder 2010, and let's see if I can end this time. Thank you, everyone. Stay sweaty, stay awesome.